They don't think you could do it, but tell you to try when they talk. All I hope had to keep it alive. Spend a day in the Bronx, but you wouldn't survive. Can be low when I pop out, they know I've arrived. I go have conversations with Zoe, he gon' tell me pull up and come say what you know. I've been up, I can count all them days in a row. We don't say what we do, we be making the show. They say I'll be
the voice of the Bronx. We have Bronx Land with the guys that are out here. Can I get a yeah?
Leave them all right where they at. Try to diss me, I bet I don't even react. Put a show on, I bet you somebody gon' I pick me a book up and drink me some water, invest in the stock. All them kids don't be bad.
All right, peace and love, world. Welcome to another episode of Conversation with Zo. We are here today. It's a special day. You know what I'm saying? We're with Weezy, WTF. We don't have to search for a title because that's the title.
Is it?
Absolutely. Named after you.
Oh, this nigga getting the clicks on my ass.
You know what I'm saying? We doing it, you know? But I'm so happy to have you here.
Me too.
You know, thank you for your time. I want to start today a little different. I'm sure everybody knows who you are, but I was able to gather.
That's a crazy ass thing to say. You think everybody knows who I am?
Come on, yes, 100%.
No,
100%. All right, in this podcast world, because that's today. You know, I'm talking for my podcast family and my podcast.
Maybe black podcasters. White people be trying to act like, oh, like call her daddy. No, bitch. Like what the fuck I said.
Yeah,
it's spelled like this.
Right. Shout out to Horrible Decisions. You know what I'm saying? Podcast, but I was able to gather some quotes and some messages from staff and people that you know, right? So I want to start today off by giving you your flowers.
Top,
right?
I'm on my period. I might start crying.
All right. If it happens, then it happens.
Only read the fun ones.
I mean, I got 5.
Okay.
5. So we're gonna start with T, right? She's actually in the room. Shout out to T. Right. So Weezy was born a star.
Why am I crying already? Don't look at me.
All right.
Okay.
So Weezy was born a star. And by divine timing, she will only get bigger. The beautiful thing about her is, as her star power increases, so does her humility.
Oh, that's not true.
Right?
I be talking mad shit the more money I make. But it's like, I'll talk mad shit and I'll try to cover it up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I be like, fuck all these niggas because we getting rich. But at the same time, we need them to come in.
Right.
But I appreciate that.
Right. Shout out to my guy, Eddin. You know what I'm saying? He's the next one.
Eddin gave you one?
Facts. Eddin's my guy.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Weezy, congrats on 100K. From Engine Room to WTF Media Studios, you really did it. Hoax.
Hoax?
Is that how you spell it? Hoax? Hoax?
Oh, ho. Like,
ho? Oh, ho.
Oh, you don't know French.
Got you.
It's a classy hoe.
Okay, classy ho. All right.
Which I am.
Right, that's a fact. We're going to go. So this is from Wolf. And this one's a little lengthy. But we're gonna get to it.
Okay.
For sure. All right. So boom. In NYC, you have to survive before you can live.
Oh, this nigga.
I've worked with a lot of people in this city, people that I looked up to, and people that I admired for their talents and success. But more importantly, people that I thought I could trust because they look like me. But the truth is, in this city, a lot of people at the top forget what it was like to be at the bottom. And they take advantage of you. Maybe because it happened to them when they first started it, or just believe it's called charging into the game.
Oh my God.
But when I met you and Mandy, everything changed. For the first time in years of not being paid and working the hardest I've ever worked in my life, I met 2 women who didn't play about paying a black man. I met 2 women who never tried to play me not one time and always treated me with respect. I met women who said they believe in putting black people on, and that's exactly what you ladies did. Because of Horrible, because of Alex, I am living a dream that at one point in life I wasn't sure was possible. I pay my rent, I pay my bills, and I love my career. You owe me nothing. You've given me everything I ever wanted. And that was a fair chance. Thank you so much for helping me change my life, Wolf.
You know why I'm crying? Like, obviously this is really sweet, but today is payday. I don't know when y'all are listening to this, but Wolf's check was so big that I had to call Chase to ask for an increase to sell it to him. And like, I'm laughing about this shit, but I'm just like, yo. And I said to Wolf, like, yo, I want you to make like double this money. I really think you will. Like, even though this is the biggest that you've ever made in a bi-weekly pay period, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't even think that it's like not possible. And it just like feels really good to hear that, because more than it feels like flowers to me, like in my brain, like I just want it for Wolf. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, something with Tionne that I remember, not like trying to make it a like, I helped you, bitch, because I'm not saying it like that. But when I started working for this company, I got a computer. And I was like, well, hold on now. She ain't got one. So I'm like, oh, okay. Actually, I have an assistant that needs da-da-da-da. Like, I'm just always going to find a way. And I just feel like I think I'm getting successful because I'm doing that.
Right.
Like, that's the only real secret to the sauce, I think.
Right.
Is like, you have to do that for people because being that person is how I'm getting on.
Right.
So it's like, if you don't have that karmic shit go on, you're just not going to get it.
Right. I definitely do feel that. We got Yomi, and she sent me. It's actually a picture of Wolf. Cool. Can you see it? Right. And this is what you said to her. You said, "Who said y'all can have a good time outside of work?" It said, "Sorry, I just miss you, love you, but still, what the WTF? No pun." Right? That was a good one. That was a good one, right? And then we got Ian Dunlap, right? I was able to get in contact with him. He's actually going to record with me on Wednesday here.
Oh, shit.
Right? So, we're going to double up on this one, right? But this is, so I wrote one, and he sent me a voice note, right? So to my guy Ian, right?
He did. God damn, that nigga loves a voice note.
Right.
You got to pause your music,
right?
Stop driving your car to listen for 45 seconds. Peace. If he says love you dearly, let's hear it.
All right. Weezy is one of my favorite people on earth. I hope you can hear the joy in my voice as I'm leaving this. One of the humblest, super sweet, and talented people that I know. I remember the first time I met her in New York. I had been a fan of her and Alex. I went to the studio, and I had a little fanboy moment like, nigga, that's Weezy. For her, not now to be a friend and business partner, I've always told her that kind souls and honorable people will come together and win in the end. The hard work and dedication has paid off. She's super helpful, super loving. Despite all the shit she talks, she's really sweet and super loving at heart. Right, and then the second one, we could play it.
So to Weezy, I love you. It's an honor to be your friend. A pleasure to be your business partner and a dream come true to be able to be close with you. And we always have a hell of a time whenever we kick it. Can't wait to do it again. Congrats on all your success on the show. The Adidas shit is major. I love you dearly. I'm super fucking proud of you. And I told you from day one, you're a fucking star. And I think you're one of the most important people in our culture. So I'm glad to see you get your flowers. Love you.
Did I die? Is this my fucking funeral, nigga?
We just giving you your flowers, that's all.
I'm going to tell you something, though, and I do not give this compliment to a lot of people. I am so impressed right now.
Thank you.
Like, I am very impressed. I almost want to steal this, but like, I told Wolf yesterday, I said, Wolf, what did I say?
I don't remember what you said. I was drinking too.
I said, yo, I got to do 3 podcasts tomorrow. I said, I really hope people don't ask me the same shit.
Yes.
Because, and I didn't mean it. And like Alex was joking, like, oh, people, you got to be interviewed. I was like, no, it's just reliving the same conversation isn't easy.
Right.
And like, I want to give a fun experience to podcasters too. And doing this shit for so long, sometimes I'm like, fuck, is someone gonna have a good time with me?
Right.
Am I thinking of something different or innovative? Like, it's really not easy to be different because we're learning from other people. So it's like, it's almost got to spark your brain. I don't listen to podcasts because I feel like I'm gonna take something on accident.
Got you.
You know what I mean? This.
Right. I mean, this is me. I'm very intentional, very detail oriented, and I like to when I bring people on, and I know some of their circle. Like I like to do things like this, just to give people their flowers and let people know how they feel about them. And sometimes we don't always get the opportunity to express that.
It reminds me of this Curb Your Enthusiasm episode where he had a funeral while he was alive. You remember that?
Right.
And Larry was like, what the fuck? Why are we doing this shit? But when you think about it, it's like a joke, but it's like, damn, you don't really have, besides a birthday, when else do I get a nice caption from somebody?
Right.
And also, sometimes, and this is so fucked up to say, but I'll be honest, when you're in a light, like a I don't want to say celebrity, but like podcaster or whatever, like you post a picture, you might get 300 comments from a bunch of people and it does feel really good. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But hearing from those people that I actually know and that know me, that hits different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like with a bitch. Like I could get a bunch of likes and I'm gonna click to see if that one nigga did it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I need to know that like the people I fuck with are fucking with me the same way.
Right.
Like that feels good. I think that's what's really good about you being intentional with that. That's what people want to hear. Because you could have told me that whole thing and I would have appreciated it, but it was different. They probably wouldn't have cried.
No, yeah, facts. I mean, you cried like the first couple words, but we hear them.
I'm bleeding.
Right. I got you.
I'm fucking crying. I'll cry on some dick right now.
I got you. But so I like to start at the beginning and work to current day. So what's your earliest childhood memory?
Dude, this is hard. I don't know. You know what it is? It's pressure. Some people be saying 2 and 3, and I'm like, eh.
Right.
I think being at Sizzler in the bathroom on my birthday, throwing up. I'm allergic to eggs.
Right.
I was like 4 or 5. I just remember that. And my mom was like pressuring me to come out the bathroom, but I was so embarrassed.
Got you.
Yeah, it was a Sizzler. Also, my parents had money. I don't know why the fuck they threw a birthday party at a Sizzler.
Right. It was probably the thing to do at the time.
Yeah, it probably was.
It probably was a flex.
They could have stacked it up.
Yeah, that's true.
They could have.
That's true. Describe high school Weezy.
Okay. High school Weezy was popular, but not too popular because I have big teeth. And so niggas would make fun of that, but also like they wanted to fuck. But I was fucking niggas out of high school. So I think that's the only thing that made me cool. I won best dressed. I was smart, but I was skipping school a lot. I went to jail like 3 times while in high school.
For what?
Huh?
For what?
One was stealing, one taking a car and then fighting, and then a fake ID. Maybe, yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah.
So my mom was so disappointed. She was like, "What the fuck? Like, imagine you growing up with money, giving your kids the best life. It's like you're a hood rat."
Yeah.
What else? High school Weezy just did ecstasy for the first time, so that pretty much took me downhill.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of how people like treated me. I always felt. So I had eczema, and I still do, but it was like more evident when I was a kid, so I would wear long sleeves all the time. It's interesting. I never said this on a podcast, but I was really insecure about my skin and how I looked, and I didn't know I was cute. Like, I think then I maybe started getting validation from men, and then the older I got, it like got better.
Yeah.
But high school, I just felt like they were mean, and that's probably why I was trying to like fuck with dudes from a club.
Right.
Because at least they were like growing men, and by not being in a club might mean like 19, 20.
Right.
But like high school kids were just mean to me.
Yeah.
But now I hate to be a bitch, but like they're all ugly.
Right.
And it's
That's
really,
facts.
it feels really good.
It happens. Some people peak early, you know.
They do.
They do.
Like all the hot girls from high school. And then there was this really cute story that happened recently. And by recently, I mean like a year or so. My mom, there was a popular girl in high school that I was always, maybe I would say jealous of. But when you're a kid, it's very innocent.
Yeah.
And my mom ran into her mother at a bar in Orlando. And she said that her mother couldn't wait to tell her that she was a doctor. And I was like, oh, and I remember the feeling I had, like, I wonder what you said. And she was like, and I told her, you know, my daughter's on TV now. And I don't know if you know who Charlamagne is, but I mean, I think my mom might have said I did the Breakfast Club. But she basically was like, she does this and she owns this and talks about sex. And the way that she said it on the phone was so like, I'm so proud that you do this.
Right.
And I'm sure this other white lady across the table is probably like, oh. But my mom, all that mattered in my brain was like, she thought I was better than the doctor. And that was like the most gratifying thing for me.
Shout out to Mom Dukes.
Right?
That's a fact.
After that, I feel like fuck everybody from high school.
Yeah, you made it. Did you drop out of college? What happened?
So I dropped out of college because the first little thing happened. I was going to school for journalism, which is kind of funny because this is basically it now.
Yeah.
But I remember this lady was telling me, I was like, oh, I want to write too. And she was like, oh, well, you can't do this. You can't write this. You write like a blog. That's what she said to me. And I was like, I could write a fucking book like this if I wanted to. And she said, try it. I think I did. And then I was done. And then I was like, okay, I'll go back. But then my dad ended up having a stroke, I think. And he couldn't work anymore. So then I just needed to have a job. Couldn't pay for college. Had to take care of my parents. So it kind of worked like that.
Yeah.
But I don't recommend anybody. I think I'll go back to college at like 50.
Right. Just to go chill.
Once I'm bored.
Yeah.
And honestly, I might have someone do it for me.
Right. I mean, by
I'm
then,
just playing.
by then, you know,
I think about it, and it's like, I do want my kids to go to school. Like, how would I feel if my kids say they wanted to be a podcaster? Would I shit my pants?
no,
Probably.
you would.
I think I'd be scared.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I think a lot of people have so many hopes and dreams of this for the wrong reasons. Like, I didn't podcast to be famous. Like, I just wanted to have fun with my homegirl.
Right.
And it's funny because ironically, I didn't know I was making a business with her until it got good. Then I was like, oh, we're supposed to make money on this? Oh, this costs money? Like, I did not know I was choosing to make a business by making a podcast. And people don't realize they're doing the same.
Right.
So I think that's why it would be terrifying for me and my kids. This TikTok era of people wanting to be seen and famous, like, that shit's rough.
Yeah. I mean, I played sports, so I kind of want my son to play sports. And because I got the blueprint for him. But for me, it's just trying to introduce it to him, see if he likes it. But whatever his passion is, that's what I'm going to support him in. Like,
I mean, of course.
Yeah, for sure.
But you got to think, too, when it comes to podcasting, like, why do people say it's their passion? Why? Like, it's a very easy answer for me on why I do Horrible.
Me too.
I know I'm educating people about sex. I know I'm getting them healthier. I know that I'm making them feel liberated. Like, it's easy. And it's not a selfish answer.
Yes.
I enjoy it, I guess, but, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I know I'm doing it for them. I don't think most podcasters think that.
Yeah. I mean, I started conversation with Zoe almost 5 years ago. And I was playing baseball overseas. I always wanted
Baseball?
Yeah, I played professional
Didn't
baseball.
see that coming, dude.
Yeah. I was living in Austria for 2 years.
Baseball just does it. Wow.
Baseball saved my life.
I was going to say football first.
Right.
Then I was going to say basketball.
Right.
Then I might have been like, nigga, do you swim?
Now I was knocking them out the park.
Wow.
Like, literally. Like,
You Dominican?
no, I'm from Honduras.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's it, y'all.
Yeah.
Not to be a racist.
But the flow
If
is
he was regular
Dominican.
black, couldn't do it.
Yeah, the flow is Dominican from like playing baseball though. You know, I was with Dominicans pretty much my whole life. And I'm from the South Bronx.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's Dominican.
Yeah. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Those are my people.
Ain't that
You know
shit
what I'm saying?
crazy how, like, genetically and, like, demographically, it's just a thing? Like, we know black people gonna be good at baseball. Like, I mean, at basketball. And then it's like baseball to, like, know you're like, that's really nuts.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a little high. The gummy's hitting.
All right, we all good. We all good. So I want to talk about your circle a little bit.
Okay.
Right? Has your circle? Oh, hold on. Let me tell you why I podcast first. Right.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to know.
So I wanted to put a positive message out there. Right. So coming from the South Bronx, and, you know, I grew up in the hood, and it's a lot of bad information circulating. You know, where you got to be this way and that way. But for me, I consider myself from the sidewalks, not the streets. But blood does spill over from the streets to the sidewalks, right? So for me, I just wanted to come on here and give a positive spin to things, like going to therapy, going to school, doing the right thing, finding your passion, not listening to your first generation parents who may think that a city job is the best thing for you. But it's about you finding, either way, you have to live with it, right? So whatever decision you make it yours. You know, so just talking about different things, generational trauma, you know, breaking generational curses, you know, things that we don't really talk about in the Black and brown community. You know, we mainly talk about sports and top 5 rappers, but
Breaking curses is a real thing,
it's
though.
a real thing.
Because as the interviewee or interviewer, you almost have to, like, be that vulnerable about your own shit for someone to buy it.
Right.
Like, that's the thing, too, that makes the podcast listener connect when you're not a famous person.
Right.
I feel like famous people get podcasts, their shit gets lit. If you're the regular person, like, what the fuck do? You have to be vulnerable.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If you don't, why the hell am I listening?
Right.
I could just listen to anybody else, Charlamagne or Joe Budden or this person or that. But, like, how do I connect to you? And that relatability, I think that that's the issue. Mind you, as someone that owns a podcast studio and wants everybody in here to, like, of course I want you to think you can make your dreams come true. But at the end of the day, and these engineers listen to podcasts all day, right? Very few do they talk about. Because it's just, at the end of the day, something people think they can make easy money on. If you're not really putting yourself on the line and being vulnerable to connect, not an emotional dump, because there's a thing
There's
there.
a difference.
There's a lot of people that get on podcast, oh my God, my day's so fucked up, and my friend, and blah, blah, blah. That's dumping.
Yes.
Are you being vulnerable to teach me a lesson and connect with me? That's when I think you're actually doing what you're supposed to do.
Right. And I think where I really got to that point was when an episode I did got back to my mother. and it was called Emotionally Unavailable, where I was financially taken care of and I was supported in every way, but emotionally. My mom, being first, I'm first generation American. She was born in totally different. 10 house, 6 siblings. She was left in Honduras for my grandmother to come here, so she was with all 5 of her siblings. As the oldest, pretty much being a mother to everybody. So that's why I kind of understand like the hoarding and all that stuff, and never wanting to be without because you grew up in the circumstances.
A lot of Latinos are like that.
That's a fact. So for her, she was really rough, and she said a lot of things that you don't really say to a child. But I understand because she had her own healing to do, but she wasn't really there for me emotionally. You know what I'm saying? And my father was though, and I didn't really notice that.
Men do not have this experience. That's crazy. So
I didn't know that it really made a difference until my father passed away 8 years ago now, right? And I would say she said it. She was like, the person who gave a fuck about your feelings is no longer here. And that's when I noticed I'm in for one because I'm not that close to her. I was close to my father, So I was very fortunate enough to grow up with both of my parents in a tough neighborhood, but I had a father.
Do you have kids?
I have a son.
I'm sure you're a great dad.
Doing my best.
Honestly, I think when you have an example like that, I have men tell me a lot that they think I treat them well because of my relationship with my dad.
Right.
Like, we gotta realize, like, dads are so important because we hear the echo chamber of shitty fathers.
Right.
So to get the opposite experience, that's probably why you're like able to be emotionally intellectual with people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the security that you got to experience from another man, like that's a real thing.
Right. And that's another thing why I wanted to start this platform is to call the bullshit out. We supporting bum ass niggas in the hood. You feel me? Deadbeats. Dudes run blocks and empires and all of this, but don't take care of kids.
Women fuck them.
Right. How do we condone that? As other men, like how do you say, oh yeah, that's a real nigga?
Yo, I be wondering all the time. Like, I think because it was the last podcast, they said Tristan Thompson. Sometimes like I'll see him out or whatever since I be in LA now, and I'm like, how do bitches fuck him, son?
Right.
Are you watching what's going on, bro? This bitch Chloe crying every episode. I'm embarrassed. Granted, if you got me feeling sorry for a white woman, I know you ain't shit.
Right.
Fuck.
Right.
I can't do it, bro.
Nah.
I got a homeboy that damn, I'm trying not to say who it is. But basically, outwardly, he was disrespectful to somebody, his baby mother. And I was like, bro, I am like really embarrassed to even like know you right now. Like niggas see we follow each other and this is like embarrassing for me.
Gotcha.
That's how much of a joke what you're doing is.
Right.
I don't give a fuck if that bitch slashed your tires, nigga. Why are you doing this? People are gonna Google it and then your kid's gonna grow up and know that you were a piece of shit to his mom.
Right.
You dumbass. Like, eat it. Fucking eat it.
Right.
You fucked her. Eat it.
Right.
I just don't get it. Cuss her out in a text.
Right. Be a text, pull up on her, whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
But
be a normal person and curse her the fuck out on the phone.
Right.
Let her screenshot it to her homegirls.
Because what happens is short-term decisions have a long-term consequences. And that's going to be the consequence that your son or your daughter is going to see it. So I think that's what we're kind of seeing now. But for me, I just want to better the narrative of my neighborhood the way that I can through the community work, through the podcast, and putting positive conversation out there. Obviously, it's gotten a little more spicier lately, with the sex workers and things like that. But they're still human, though. And I'm humanizing that conversation because the clips are the clips. But that's for the internet. But if you watch the episode, we had a great conversation.
I love sex workers that like bear all.
Right.
I'd never listened to any episode of Premium Peep, but Heather Hunter was on there and I was like, ooh, let me check this out. This is so old too. I listened to it years ago. But I remember I was like, oh wow, the way that she's talking about how she started. And sometimes we think questions like that are very basic. Like for you to say, what's high school Weezy like? When you read that question on a paper, you're like, this is nothing there, but you get someone to spill.
Right.
And I think humanizing sex workers, which is obviously something I'm passionate about doing, that's the shit.
Right.
Because I don't get a lot of those opportunities because my show is so fun.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I do want people to see them as people and what you're doing, especially when they sit down with men. That's really when, because men normally are going to make you feel shamed. You know what I mean?
And I don't like fresh. Well, whatever. I'm not a fan of fresh.
Look, my body rejected.
Right?
Niggas. But what?
But I took something from it where I could do the opposite of what they do. I can just create a conversation and create a flow and, just have a conversation with them, and just give you the floor. I'm not here to challenge you. I'm not here to argue with you.
You know what I think they fucked up with too, though? Like, they've said a few times they give like women the opportunity to like explore the platform, boost their shit up.
Right.
They're really picking bitches that are stupid.
Thank you.
Hate to say it like that.
They're targeting them.
It's just the truth.
Yeah.
And I like sometimes I hate to talk about women like that, but like them hoes are down.
Right. Yeah.
They offered me a flight to come and do their podcast. This is before they were doing all their, the internet knew what they did.
Right.
But I remember thinking like, no one's ever offered to fly me out for a podcast before, ever. Right. I mean, I've been doing this for a minute. This is not normal. Like now that I'm working on one of the podcasts I'm working on that I'm so excited, I'm producing DJ Drama's podcast.
That's tough.
And Audible was like, how much do we pay XYZ rapper? And I'm like, this is podcast, bro. Mm-hmm. He's DJ Drama. He made these niggas some of the best mixtapes that are even considered albums in the world. Right. Why the fuck would you think you gotta pay somebody? And I realized like, oh my God, like people don't realize what podcast shit is. This is press for both. So once I saw that they were trying to pay me, I clicked on their shit and I said, oh, you guys want a girl that semi-articulate to get up there and talk with these girls to make me look like a fucking idiot. You know what I'm saying? Like to basically dumb me down too. I really believe that. I don't think they wanted to bring me on there to like.
They wanted to humble you.
Yeah. And also to sit me with women like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not something I'm about to do. And I also want to just be very clear. Just because they have on sex workers or OnlyFans girls or whatever, like they're bringing on girls that are like very bottom tier women. And I say that because you know how shitty these niggas are. Mm-hmm. How shitty, how they talk to girls, curse them out, cuss them out. White girls on there saying nigga, just wilding the fuck out. Mm-hmm. And then you watch how they talk to women and still get up there because you want your OnlyFans to grow.
Right.
Just go on No Jumper, bro.
Right.
Like Adam ain't shit either. And I like Adam a lot.
Right.
But like, he gonna get on there and probably like, rile your feathers up, but at least he's not a dog. Them niggas are dogs.
It's not gonna be 12 women being degraded.
It's actually hard to watch.
It is.
And I'm embarrassed because when I shit on two black men so rough, like I start to feel bad, but I'm like, we gotta stop doing that too. You ever do that where you're like, I don't want to say nothing because they black? It
all depends what you're doing though. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give everybody grace until I feel like I don't have to give you grace anymore.
Oh yeah, that was bad.
Right.
They were gonna have me on Flagrant. I think Andrew Schultz. That's right. Andrew was gonna, or he did interview him. I remember he called me that day, and he offered it, and I got so mad on the call. It was almost like he took it back because I was fuming.
Yeah.
I can't sit down with them. Matter of fact, you know what? Yes, I can't. I was just, I would have been out of control. Brittany Renner did a great job. I'm not the biggest fan of her either, but she cooked them niggas.
Yeah. No, she gave it. They weren't ready for that though, and I'm proud. I'm happy for her.
Me too.
That she stood up for. She like they weren't ready for that rebuttal. You know, they didn't think she had it in her, or to be able to articulate herself. So she really did her thing.
She did.
Shout out to Brittany Renner. So your circle, how's your circle doing nowadays?
I still have all my day one friends. It's just a lot more effort to like see them. Mm-hmm. Because I live in 2 cities now, and that shit's really rough. Some of my friends are more famous and shit, which is kind of weird. But also like, I don't know. You know, it's crazy because like, I feel like when I was younger, I used to be like, how come all the same celebrities fuck each other? Mm-hmm. But I get it now.
Get it.
I went to like a very exclusive Hollywood party. Like they took your phone type shit. And it was like, I was shocked at the people I saw in there. But I'll say this to say, I realize why they feel safer with each other. And so what's happening to me now with the more that I get famous or rich friends is now I have a peer to talk about shit with. Like recently, I was trying to talk about like growing or scaling the business, and genuinely talking to someone like, well, I want to pay my employees more. Like I can't grow the business without paying them more. So I have to give them a raise. But at the same time, like, is that to not be expected? Like, are we supposed to grow and not? Like when we opened the LA studio, we gave everybody a raise. Cause I was like, I can't just say we built off the backs of New York niggas to build in LA. That's crazy.
Right.
And I was talking to someone about this that is bigger than me. Because if I start talking that shit with my day one homegirl that's just like still working on the mall.
It's not going to stick.
Not even that it won't stick, but now I'm turning into a new person, I feel like, in their eyes. Mm-hmm. So sometimes even talking about my life seems like a flex when I'm not even trying to do that.
Not even.
That shit is really weird.
Yes.
And I also noticed something too. one of my friends was talking about a conversation they had with the president, Barack Obama. And I remember he was talking about this convo, and I was looking at him like, shut up, dude. Like, and he's like, what? And in his brain, he didn't even know how he sounded. So that let me know that I'm D-list. You know what I'm saying? Like, when someone's just like, yo, and I had to call him up for some advice and da-da-da, and I'm sitting there like, is he trying to impress me? But like, this is your life. So on a smaller scale, I say that to say, one of my friends is probably thinking that of me. So I really try to watch myself and the things that I say. Because again, for humility, like I have to keep that intact because I get so disgusted with people that are like too up their own ass. It's sickening.
Right. I feel you.
I'm up on it a little bit though.
I got you. Have any day ones gotten cut off?
Kind of. I feel like the closest friends I've had, no, they're still around.
Yes.
I've had middle of the way friends get cut off a lot more.
The mids.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And mainly, I'll say this one thing that I realized from LA. I feel Grammy weekend just happened. I felt so used for my access. Like, it was almost draining to me. I got really upset. To the point where I was going to go to the Grammys. Got invited. I was really excited about it. Makeup, hair, appointment set. And I was so exhausted from everybody trying so hard all weekend. I literally woke up and I was like, bro, like, I don't do music. Why am I going to this shit? Of course I want to go watch these performances, but like, so I could sit around and talk more shit about these people. Like, I can't do it. Sometimes it's weird. I don't know. I think that like my access is very interesting too. Some niggas look at me like I'm just a podcast whore, which I am. And then other niggas look at me for all of the things I do. And those are the niggas that are smart. Because I've definitely been used by them and didn't notice it. Yeah. You know, I work for one of the biggest movie directors in the world. I also partner with the biggest fucking radio nigga of all time. Nobody's better than Charlamagne. Fuck Howard Stern, bro. I'm sorry. He's not my Charlamagne the God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, he's ours. So I think that when people realize that, if I was able to work to that and I'm just a podcast whore, how could you possibly think for a second, me, that somebody wouldn't try to use you along the way? And you know who does it the most? Women. And what else is harder about that shit is women, to me, are supposed to be the camaraderie. But like, it's been difficult. And men, for some reason, are more out there with it. They'll flat out ask me, yo, like Andrew Schultz, he just recently posted, he was in You People. Andrew Schultz asked me, he's like, I need to meet Eddie Murphy. And I'm like, I don't know that nigga. He's like, bro, please. Get me in this movie. Figure out a way to get me in this movie. And I did. He flat out asked me. He should be able to do that. Andrew put me onto a lot of shit too.
Right.
But girls are more sneaky with me. And like, I realized those middle of the way girls that I met kind of just were like, oh, I'll go to a party with this bitch and meet a nigga and then I'm on. And that shit is hard. Making genuine connections.
And people's intentions.
Yeah.
Right. That's tough. That's tough. I had a dude, and you'll see this, bro. I was at a bar the other day. And you know, conversation with Joe is making some noise right now. But you've known me before all of this. And whatever you want to say this is. But he's like, bro, I've been meaning to call you, but I don't know if you Hollywood and all of that. I was like, bro, don't do that. Like, have you called me? Did you text me? No. So just reach out. But don't come up to me in front of people and try to make this little thing like I'm Hollywood.
That's not you. You know what that is? That's insecurity.
Right.
Charlamagne told me to stop doing that shit. Every time I would call him, I would say, I'm sorry to bother you. And he would always say back to me, why are you saying this? Matter of fact, Wolf be saying that to me about payday. Nigga, how are you thinking you bothering me on some shit I need to do? This is my job too. Right. My job is to get this invoice done. How the fuck you bothering me? But we do that because for some reason in our brain, like, we're thinking we shouldn't be, I don't know what that is. That's not about you. That's about them.
Okay.
No shade, Wolf. Yeah. But it is. It's like I do the same thing. Right. We got to stop doing that.
Yeah,
I have a right to be asking you for my money.
Right.
I have a right to be calling you. I work with you. Like, and that's your people.
Right.
You gotta like.
And he still never called, never text since then. So for me, it was just like, you did all of that for what? You know. But
my people be doing that too, though. We love doing that.
But moving on, you're a Pisces.
What are you?
I'm a Gemini.
Well,
right. Yeah, June 11th.
Okay, whoa, calm down, Earth, Wind, Fire.
But
wow.
But you're March 17th.
Uh-huh.
My mom is March 15th, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, so a little connection there. But I looked up some Pisces stuff, and it may relate, it may not.
Emotional, and
right?
I cry a lot.
Pisces know how to keep a secret.
I don't.
Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on. Like a real good one. Like you tell me your trauma. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I guess there's levels to the secrets you're
I'm
gonna
gonna tell you right now. If you tell me you fuck some bitch that I know and you walk out of this room and be like, whoa, guess what? But my mother's just very gossipy. That's where I get it from.
Yeah.
My mom used to, at night, I have a memory of this. This is crazy. My mother we had a big window in the house we lived in that faced all of the neighborhood. It was the first house on the block. My mom used to sit outside the window with a cocktail in her hand. I could hear her on the phone with her friends being like, guess whose daughter's coming in at 1 a.m? I'm telling you. And they think she's asleep. I'm looking at her right now going to the window. Like, why do you give a fuck?
Yeah.
But also, I am that person. That's why I love the Zeus Network.
Yeah. Are loyal.
I think that's definitely true for me.
Okay.
To a fault.
Don't hold grudges.
That's true.
Okay.
I got one person in this world that I hold a grudge with. But other than that, no.
All right. Pisces stay away from anything spiritual.
No.
Okay.
Not true.
Are social.
Definitely.
Are clingy beyond belief.
Yep.
Are pushovers.
Yep.
Is Pisces are overly sensitive.
Yep.
All right. So, hey, shout out to the internet. You know, this is pretty.
The only thing that's interesting is spiritual. I feel like
Spiritual,
whenever
right?
someone's very like emotional and that you can push them into that shit.
Right.
But maybe that's like a deeper thing. But like, yeah. Like if I pass a psychic with a blinking sign, I'm going in.
Yeah.
So oh my God, the fans was dragging me. This psychic told me that the reason I couldn't find love is because I had an abortion.
Wow.
And I was in there believing that shit. And then she told me, this is the only reason I snapped out of it. She's going to cleanse it out of me for $100.
Oh.
And I was like, ooh, but I still kind of wanted to pay it.
Right.
But I actually saw a next psychic healer
Mm-hmm.
who told me some shit that was crazy. She's like, are you spiritual?
Yes.
This is what she said to me. She's like, how old are you when you had an abortion? I was like, younger. She's like, matter of fact, don't tell me the age. Were you ready? I said, no. She was like, well, guess what? You probably would have brought a baby in this world that you would have treated like shit, didn't want, had a fucked up life. And she was like, so instead, the universe decided to give you angels. And those angels needed their spirit released. She was like, we're all reincarnated. That person may not needed to live again. They may needed to have been let go.
Wow.
She was like, so that's what you have. She was like, this isn't about not finding love. Like you had to release somebody that needed it.
Wow.
And they needed to just live life watching over you.
That's deep.
Deep as fuck. And I believe her.
Now, I believe it too, because it seems sincere and genuine. It's something that when you believe, like my father, his spirit, like at his funeral, they said our bodies are rentals, but the soul lives forever. You know, so that reminds me along those same lines of being released.
Yes.
You know, and I know the selfish side of us wants a person here, but my father's now in peace. I don't know the pain he felt.
Uh-huh.
So that's what gave me my peace and understanding that he's no longer living with that pain.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So we here.
That is something that's easy to deal with.
Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned you're bleeding at the beginning of the show,
Uh-huh.
but can you blame your attitude on your period?
Yeah.
Okay.
I say that because I have endometriosis and I have fibroids. So for anyone listening that doesn't know what that is, it's basically just a bunch of tissues that are in your uterus. I won't give you a science thing, but it makes the cramps that much more difficult.
Right.
When people are in pain, hurt people hurt people. That's
Right.
all I'm going to say.
I got you. So I like digging up people's tweets, but couldn't dig up yours.
I was going to say, I know
because
my shit got deleted.
your Twitter is suspended.
Do you know what my bio was? It was, I'm going to get fired one day for these tweets.
Right.
And I am so glad my shit got suspended.
You know it. So what happened? I guess it was just that. You was wilding on Twitter.
No, I think there was like a buzzword maybe that I kept saying.
Okay.
That like after you say it a few times, it just gets deleted. But I really wasn't. Because I was thinking like, damn, I'm looking at pussy hole on here. Like,
Right.
But
Twitter's a wild place.
also, I'm not really good with people talking shit to me.
Got you.
Like, I'll start to respond. Like, it's a whole thing.
Right.
And I think people know how to like troll me in that way.
Got you.
Like, I'll read a nigga for death on my live. It's almost like the fun. They almost know it's coming.
Right.
You're a fucking whore. You know what, bitch? I just clicked on your shit. Actually, the best thing a nigga said to me, I had to eat it too. He said, Weezy got all this money and I was on live and he goes and got a popcorn ceiling. You know how to like the old
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, in my 2 houses, bitch. And I was like, okay, bitch, calm down. But like that shit was mad funny.
Right.
That to me is
That's a good
funny.
one. That's a good one.
But like some people are just ridiculously
Yeah.
mean. And
Yeah.
like that's when I go hard.
Nah, I feel you. I was watching Horrible Decisions. So I really love the show, by the way.
Thank you.
Definitely got to have your headphones in at work. You know, it's not a
I know.
listen to out loud kind of, but episode 251, Plan B and Jail. You said, I just wanted some dick. Wait, hold on. Pause for the town. But, right? I just wanted some dick. I was tired of sucking it.
Yeah, what about it?
Like, is that a thing for you? Like, does that happen where it's just like, bro, like, I'm over this?
I'm gonna be honest with you, and this is not advice to women. I will do it till the end. I don't give a fuck. If my knee could be bleeding, I'll do it if you really want me to.
Right.
But like, I'm never gonna say I'm tired.
Right.
I'm gonna eat it.
Right.
Yeah, girls definitely get tired. And actually, I think girls that suck good dick get tired.
Right.
Like, the thing that I notice the most are my arms. Using 2 arms,
Yeah.
this is a lot of fucking work. Like, you have to practice this. This is strength training.
Right.
It's a job.
Right. So should a guy know when to turn you around, or should he just be like, you know what, it's my time?
That's a good question. I don't think a guy should know.
Okay.
I think when niggas like pull you back, you realize they don't want no pussy.
Okay.
And I'm starting to get a little mad because over this year, I realized like my head is great, and I'm like, is it better than my? Why are like niggas only wanting head? Like niggas, I had a dude tell me this is so trifling. He said, I started arguing with him, and he was like, "Yo, I'm off it. Like we should just be friends." I was like, "You right?" And then he called me like 10 minutes later, and I'm like, "What's up?" And we were just fucking.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "Yo, I know you was on your period yesterday, so I'm gonna let this shit slide." I said, "How you know I was on my period?" He said, "I watched your story." I said, "First of all, you don't even follow anybody. So what you watching my story for?"
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Because I'm trying to figure out what the fuck your problem is because I can't let you go." I'm like, "Bro, we shouldn't have fucked. You're right. Like, let's just be friends." And he's like, "I don't think you get it. Like, I cannot not get head from you again."
Wow.
And I was kind of like, damn, he didn't say he couldn't fuck.
Right.
He said, "I don't know what you need from me, but this has to like be a thing."
Right.
So I'm laughing about it. And then I hang up the phone and I was like, this is what's happening to my pussy. I'm having a lot of casual sex. My pussy ain't hitting for them casual sex niggas like it is the niggas I fuck with.
Right.
That's when you got super soaker, you fucking back. I'm like throwing it back. I'm on top, I'm riding. Like, if I'm just kind of like whatever, I'm just like getting fucked.
Right.
But like head is such a passion of mine in life that
Right.
I'm gonna always be good at it because I gotta know that you know how fire I am.
Right. I got you. But I love when hood niggas give you money for Plan B because it's just like a big wild, my bad, baby.
This is out my mouth.
Yeah. It's like-
Also, hood niggas when they give you money for Plan B give you more than the 50.
Right.
They give you the wide.
Right.
You know, they like know you're gonna cramp. They know this shit kind of be fucked, and they feel guilty. And it's
Right.
like, hey, it's not abortion money, but it's halfway.
Right.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
It's worth it.
Right. Right. I was listening to it. I was like, that's a good one. I'm bring that up.
That actually, I stand by that.
Right.
Hood niggas just give you cash, and it's just such a joy, man. They just don't care. It's such a nothing. Like when you're making cash, think about when you take cash out. You spend it so much quicker than your card.
That's a fact.
So like hood niggas are making all this cash. They almost feel like they gotta offload the shit.
Right.
It's great.
Right. Do you remember your first kiss?
Yes.
Was it to a boy or girl?
It was a boy. Oh. Okay, I count first kiss as makeout.
Okay.
It was my first kiss was a girl. My first makeout was a boy. His name was Andrew. I follow him still. He's got a family, 2 kids.
Right.
And it was funny because when I was passing him a few years ago downtown Orlando, he was with his wife. He goes, "Ah!" And then he introduced us. He goes, "She was my first kiss." And I remember his wife was laughing.
He
and
fanned
smiling.
out though. That was a fan moment though. Like he didn't have to say that, but
You think?
no. I mean, what is his? That's like me being with my girl.
No.
You know, and then you. I mean, say I slept with Weezy at some point, and my girl meets you and be like, "Babe, we slept together." I mean, maybe it's just a kiss, but you don't have to mention anything physical you did with somebody. You know, I think it's because of who you are.
I would have done it too, though.
Right? All right. That's y'all. I'm not doing that.
Maybe
I'm
we're
not
just
doing
dumb.
that. Right.
I think if I was walking with my nigga, I'd be like, "Yo, I wouldn't say I used to, but like when you know it's like you're 10 years old,
Right, yeah.
it's kind of funny.
Right.
Because the way she laughed, I think I would have done the same.
All right, cool.
You know what I'm saying? So you're telling me if you would have passed your first kiss with your girl, you wouldn't be like, yo, remember when we was in elementary school? My little girlfriend.
Nah. Nah, my girl's not that cool. Like, yeah.
Okay.
She's that's not flying. You know
Okay, I wasn't checking out his body when I said he did football. I'm just saying
Nah, even so, like, you know, me interviewing sex workers and things like that, like, even with the content, like the clips, like I tell her first, you know, because I'm like, hey, I'm gonna put this out, or you know,
you're a really good boyfriend.
I mean, I just don't want to. I don't want. Were
anybody... y'all together before the podcast?
Facts.
You were.
Were we together before the podcast? No, we had just gotten back. I had started it, and then we had just gotten back together. She's my high school sweetheart, so we've been on and off, but we've been more on and off.
Okay, then that makes more sense because I was gonna say, I feel like I've had to, even that conversation we just had off camera that you just saw happen, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not changing my content for no nigga.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit feeds me. This shit is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you knew what the fuck I did before you got here. But in your case,
my content has evolved. It's continued to, you know.
That's actually...
I was by myself.
I commend that for you checking in.
Right, yeah. So I never want anything to come out that she didn't know about first. You know
That's good.
Because people messy too. Oh, yeah. People was calling me.
And sending it to her to make her feel bad.
Because I interviewed Riley Rabbit. Shout out to Riley Rabbit. And
how was it?
It was fire. It was a great interview. We had a great time. But I knew the clips was going to be a little spicy, you know, with her saying that she had throat surgery from her throat collapse and all of that.
That was a crazy clip.
Right. So.
But you know what, too? And I'll be honest with you. I think that you acknowledging that, a lot of men probably were, at first, even when you said it, I was like, oh, but now I hear you. My content evolves. There's a man listening like, I would never ask my girl if I got to work and da-da-da-da. But that's the thing. Like, this is different. It's not normal work, bro.
No.
You know what I'm saying? It's just not.
It's not.
Like, my ex used to come to a lot of my live shows, and he was a very, I hate him, but he was a very secure nigga in the fact that, like, he could really watch a dude pick me up. And during our shows, we'll have people demonstrate positions on us. Watch a dude pick me up, maybe grab my hair, and, like, just eat it and know I'm performing. Right. And I think that's the thing that you do have to check in when you're a performer. This is kind of performing, right?
Yes.
If we have a conversation when this camera's off, maybe our body language will change even. Mm-hmm. It'll still be a raw conversation, but it's like, this is an active entertainment thing. Yes. And so the person you're with when you're doing jobs like this has to know that. Mm-hmm. If they don't, I'm sure you were professional when you interviewed her, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like the person you're with has to know that.
Right.
Because niggas ain't shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure Riley at the same time is on and being fun because she's being interviewed too.
Yes.
It's like, I think everybody thinks for a moment when you're talking about sex, the other person immediately wants to fuck you.
Right.
Like, oh, I'm doing a job. You got an iPad, bro.
Right. That's a fact. I'm just here, you know, to clear up all the misconceptions and to have a good conversation. Mm-hmm. And it's the opportunity that I got. You know, she came to New York. We spoke on Instagram, and she said, yo, I'm coming to New York. Like, I want to come on your show. And it was a good opportunity for me and for the show.
That's dope.
So that's what I was telling her. And I'm like, yo, like, I want to do it. And now her porn star friends want to come. So it's like, I'm telling her, like,
if your girl got, Riley's porn star friends.
Yeah, her friends.
I was like, your girl got porn star friends? She should be good.
Her porn star friends.
Okay, gotcha.
You know, but it's like, yo, like, you know, the average person I know from where I'm coming from don't know those kind of people. And I get the opportunity. And they like the show. So it's like, it was a point in time when nobody cared about this, you know, only but me. You know what I'm saying? Pushing it. You know, even
Isn't it crazy when it changes?
It changes. It's crazy.
Yo, it's like a feeling where you're like, oh my God, finally.
Right.
That shit feels good.
It does feel good, you know, and I feel like I'm arriving.
It's a good investment. And you know what? I said to someone recently, he was like, you know, what if I spend all this money creating content and it goes nowhere? And I was like, how does it go nowhere, bro? Mm-hmm. Like, you know how cool it's going to be? We didn't have this growing up where I can't look at my parents or my friends or videos of me from 10, 15, 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. And maybe I won't be. Actually, I think I would be proud if my kids watched Horrible. They're just going to laugh at me. They got to be the right age to accept that content. But like, I don't really do anything I'd be ashamed of.
Right.
You know?
I mean, even with the short time, one of my friends, he passed away 2 days ago. But I have an interview with him here. And that's something I could hold on to.
Wow, that's so special.
You know what I'm saying? He was here.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
That's like worth all of it.
All of it. And but I have another friend who we were supposed to do it, and we never did. So I know that's something I could have gave to his family. Like, hey, like, I have footage. Like I have this thing. I have this hour-long conversation.
This is a real documentation of our lives, of a moment in our lives, of this age we were in.
Right.
If, quote unquote, nothing comes out of it. But like, I don't believe that.
Right.
I really don't. Like, passion projects are a real thing, but we're so obsessed with, like I was saying in the beginning, that like, what's gonna happen to me? Am I gonna get this? Am I gonna get that? Like, yo, I was honestly making content for my friends, I think, at first.
Right.
Just, I think. Like, who the hell was listening to episode 1?
Right.
You know what I mean? You get that 50 views. Oh, we're almost at 100.
Right.
Like,
yeah, it's growing, and we've taken a big jump. I had like 90 subscribers like a year and a half ago.
wow.
And now we're at like almost 1,700. So we've grown.
That's a lot.
Yeah, big jump. And in COVID, I just ran it up.
You know what I appreciate about you saying with that too, that number? People used to really, like, people love to knock you down a peg when you're talking about numbers because they say, well, so-and-so has this. Did you just hear what I said? I said 90. Now I have 1,700.
Right.
Well, growing shit organically is like hard.
Yes.
So like, that's not double. That's, I don't know what that is. Like 20 times?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Something like that, yeah.
That's a lot.
And we're here. And we got a couple more questions, but why sex advocacy?
I'm like really thinking of easy answers, so they're not long-winded. But like, I love having sex. I love talking about sex. I grew up in a house where my mom was very open about it. And I think one of my earliest memories of my mom talking about sex was about other girls in our, with other girls in our house. We were like 12. And I remember being so embarrassed. And now when I think back, my mom was just doing it because they didn't know what safety was. My mom was talking about periods with them, and she was like, ask me. Come on, you can ask me. We'll talk about it. Da, da, da. And it's very special to think about now because a good friend of mine, her daughter came over my house in LA. She's 10. And I said, you used your period yet? And she goes, no. I was like, why? And then her mom, who I love, and I cannot believe she hasn't talked about this with her daughter, was like, girl, she ain't got it yet, and then we'll talk about it when she gets it. And I was like, oh no. Went in my bathroom, I pulled out tampons, I pulled out a little period diaper. That's another story. I pulled out everything. I said, okay, come on, I want you to see it. And I put my underwear on so she saw, not naked, but you know what I mean? So she saw how to do it. I made her put the wings on the pad. I talked about how the blood comes out. I talked about how it may have a smell like this.
Right.
And I was like, holy shit, this is what I'm doing with adults.
Right.
Like, I actually enjoyed that conversation with this kid. And I'm good at it.
Right.
So I think that's why. I don't know if I could talk about current events and it hit the same.
Right.
Maybe now because people like Weezy.
Yes.
But like then, I don't think so.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool if you go to like a high school and do like a sex ed class.
Bro, I have been wanting to create a high school sex ed video for years.
Yeah.
Like, I've wanted Horrible Decisions to do that. I feel like that could be a milestone for us. Like, talking to a lot of colleges ask us to speak, by the way. Which to me is like an amazing thing. I'm actually doing first week of March, I think I'm doing this thing like for the Department of Health.
Wow.
I'm like, damn, bro, I'm sucking dick.
Yeah.
It's the dick suckers that know, bro. Think about how porn stars are mad clean.
Right.
The irony.
True. Very
Them hoes
true.
went to school. I went to go fuck. I dropped out to fuck, and look at me now.
Right. Made it. Can you give us some game on primary partners?
Wait, elaborate.
So I was listening to Horrible Decisions, and you spoke about your primary partner, but I had never really heard that term.
Oh, okay. Like, what does it mean? So, I'm not really operating like that right now, but at the time I was dating someone and I was ethically non-monogamous. I don't like the word polyamory because that word describes like multiple relationships, which is too much work. And I didn't want that nigga having another bitch, but I didn't really care if he fucked other hoes.
Right.
But like, he was my primary partner that I had sex with. So like, I wouldn't use condoms with him. And I was very open with him about my other relationships. Not relationships, but like a nigga I would fuck.
Yeah.
And that Plan B episode in particular was such a crazy one because it was a mistake. Because he wasn't my primary partner. And it's a very embarrassing thing to tell your nigga, like, hey, and it only started when I moved to LA. I didn't really move there, but I had to be there for work. So I'd be there 2 weeks at a time. And it was like, all right, maybe I'll get some dick. But I didn't, and you know, for men to hear that, it's not easy. Like, I don't want my girl fucking no other nigga. But primary partner is basically the main person that you sleep with, main person that you share intimacy with, etc.
Got you. So I was watching TikTok and I saw Kevin Samuels, and he asked a woman, What do you want? A successful family or to be a boss chick because you can't have them both? How do you feel about that?
What's a successful family?
I guess that's subjective.
Last night, Alex asked me a question. We were talking about Lena The Plug, and we were giving her flowers for. I said, "Yo, did you know she owns an Airbnb for porn stars? That shit is so fire, bro." And I was like, "It's like so dope that she decided to buy a house to not only shoot her own content in to write it off, but make money on top of it on the days she ain't doing it. Like, this bitch is lit." And I did an episode on her on Sex Cells, season 2, episode 1. It's amazing. I did not know that they were that rich. Like, I knew Adam was getting bread, but I did not know the business of Lena, which I totally am like, bow down to the queen now.
Right.
But I say all that to say, he was like, "Bro, like, that plug talk shit does so many numbers." He was like, "But fucking on a podcast gotta be easy." And I was like, "Bro, no, it's not.
Right.
You have to fuck on a podcast." And he said, "Well, how much? What's your number?" That's what he said, right? And so he started saying numbers that I could make. And then one of the things he said, "Well, what about $1 billion?" I was like, "Well, of course $1 billion, because that's ridiculous."
Right.
But if you told me right now like 10 million, I don't think I would take it.
Right.
I know niggas that make $10 million doing a podcast. Like, you know what I'm saying? Rory Mal got that $10 million deal. Like,
Right.
the 10 million ain't that far. And he's like, 10 million is a lot though. And he's like, "Okay, 20 million. And my answer to him sounded crazy, but I said, "I'm not going to not make $20 million though. I'm going to make it.
Yes.
So I need more."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And not that what she's doing is wrong. That's her job. I'm just saying that crossover for me would be nuts. I wouldn't have a lot of the jobs that I have now, and I don't know if I can expand. I watched Pamela Anderson say she did Playboy and did Baywatch. And Baywatch was the biggest show in the world at the time. She was one of the biggest stars. And the second that the sex tape came out, she was like, "Now I was a joke in acting. People are casting me in these comedy roles." She remember when she did Scary Movie with the big boots. She was like, "I'm a joke now when I act."
Wow.
She's like, I wasn't taken serious after the sex tape. So I think having sex on camera is such a scary thing because we are so backwards to where I don't know if you can go forward after that.
I see that.
It's hard. You got to really lean in.
Yeah.
So that's why I respect what Lena does, because not only does she just have sex on camera, she don't even fuck in her own house with her kid in there. Moved it over. And if she wants to stop fucking, Plug Talk, they got other people fucking on there. And we still pay to watch it. Like, that shit is smart.
Right.
It's like not even pimping, because at least they make money on it. The creators do too.
Yeah, the creators do too, yeah.
So yeah.
And it's a safe space, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fire. That's fire. First podcast you ever watched or ever heard?
The Read.
Okay.
The one that inspired me to start a podcast though was Bodega Boys.
Okay, so was that the first podcast you fell in love with?
The Read?
The Bodega Boys, or whichever one. So
I fell in love with The Read, but Bodega Boys made me want to start a podcast because Crystal and Fury are better than what I do. Not saying Deezus and Meryl aren't. They're just more like, blah.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was that person.
Right.
Crystal and Fury are exemplary for any Black podcaster out there ever.
Yes.
But what they did with current events, I couldn't see myself as a podcaster. And they're also very like outline driven, which I actually have on Horrible, but my co-host leads more. When I watched Deezus and Meryl listen to, I was like, "Oh, these niggas are disgusting."
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
Right.
Actually, it's funny. I was just saying, a podcaster in the other room said, "Oh my God, you're my Beyonce to podcast." And I'm like looking at him like he's crazy.
Yeah, the Beyonce.
Yeah, that's just fucking nuts. But years ago, Rory invited me to a party and Deezus was there. And I started to tear up when I saw Deezus, and I cried and I told him how, he's the reason I started podcasts. And I remember he went to the bathroom and I thought, "Oh my God, this nigga wants to get away from me." And he came back and we talked for an hour. And I was like, "Oh my God, like he's looking at me like a peer."
Yeah.
And fast forward 5 years ago today, Grammy weekend, I was like, "What you up to?" And I cannot believe that happens, yo.
Wow.
But it's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
You become the people, when you really work at your shit, you become them.
Yes.
I cannot wait to kick Charlamagne's ass and have a book published in print. Like, because I am.
Right.
And I feel like he would love to hear me say that.
I feel that.
But like, I'm finna be all these niggas, dog.
I feel it.
Kenny Barris got $100 million with Netflix. I'm finna get 2. And I don't even know how to make a movie, but I'm gonna get it.
Right. You're gonna figure it out. I mean,
200 million, not 200
right,
million.
200 million. Even me being here, I didn't think I'd be here.
Yo, I was telling Tionne, did you used to put the things under the door?
No.
Oh, that wasn't you?
No.
Oh, never mind.
No.
There's a podcast that had conversations with in the name.
Oh, gotcha.
And they would slide under the door. I swore that was your podcast, but
No. But that's good. I respect the hustle.
yeah.
How do you define a good podcast?
Okay, my brain's a little all over the place. Let me think. If it's scattered, there's a science to it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be very good at improv to have a scattered podcast. And I know my co-host has given the advice a lot of outlines, which you're even using yourself.
Yes.
Because it keeps the listener feeling balanced. A lot of people do not do that.
Yeah.
Which is the issue. And if you don't do that, you have to, I honestly think you might even have to be a comedian. Like, it is so hard to talk about nothing on a podcast.
Right.
What my co-host and I do, though, I think we know each other so well and the chemistry is so good that we're able to do that if we wanted to. But even then, when you're alone, how do you do that? Who has a podcast alone? Is it Bill Burr or Mark Maron? One of them, they just go on for hours just talking about nothing. And they're some of the greatest comedians in the world. Right. But I say that to say, I think that what makes a good podcast is understanding that someone is listening.
Yes.
And a lot of podcasters just talk for themselves.
Yes.
Which is not good.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're leaving me out of the conversation. I think what else makes a good podcast is calling back to things, remembering things from the top, bringing them back. Like, at the end of the day, a podcast is kind of still telling a story.
Yes.
So you want things to feel like they have a finale. You don't want to feel unfinished. I would try to think of the other thing. I don't listen to podcasts, and I think that's why I'm a good podcaster, actually.
Gotcha.
People are listening to podcasts and trying to recreate. You know, I've never been the biggest fan of Joe Budden, mainly because of how much I love Roy and Mal.
Right.
But I think that Joe Budden is so good at being a podcaster that other people think they can be Joe Budden. And I think that's where they'll end up going wrong. Right. Because Joe Budden is not the only good podcaster. I can acknowledge that he's a good one. I've actually never listened to a full episode of the show. Right. But I've seen clips and I'm like, oh, that's good podcasting. This is fun. This is funny to watch and entertaining. Yeah. But trying to be that person ain't gonna work. Right. Copycats just aren't good. Right. You know what I'm saying? Niggas try to be Charlamagne, ain't gonna work. Charlamagne. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? People trying to be Angela Yee. Like, you have to think about of what doesn't exist. Now, you could have comps. Compare. Have you heard that term? No. I've learned that term from working in movie and TV now, right? Right. Basically, they'll have a movie they're going to make. Let's say, hey, we've got a horror film of some racist shit. Comps are Get Out. It's going to give Get Out mixed with a Judas and the Black Messiah, whatever it is. Right. Something like that is a comp, right? Okay. Horrible Decisions, I think if I made it a TV show, a comp would be Insecure in Broad City, for an example. People are taking their comps for a podcast, like I mentioned Bodega Boys, and they're making that same podcast. Or trying to be better than the podcaster that they want to be. Right. It's never going to happen, bro. No. It's not. It's not. You got to run your own race, and God only makes originals. He don't make copies. So as long as you moving in your purpose, and you intentionally moving in your purpose, it's going to work out. You know, and conversation with Zoe is working out because I'm moving in. We talk about financial literacy, sex work, sports, all of that. All of that is a part of me. Mm-hmm. And I can talk about all those things at, you could say, a high level or engage in a conversation. And even if you can't talk to it at a high level, that's it, engaging. Engaging. Because, like, sometimes when people can't speak to what the person they're interviewing does, they maybe don't have enough, I don't know what the word is, to, like, pull more out of them. Right. Because they like the buck stops. Yeah. That's also what makes a bad podcast. You ever listen to a podcast and they're like, why did they ask about that? Yeah. Making people feel comfortable also too. Okay. Are you comfortable? Yeah. Good. But I think there's times though where like someone can make you feel attacked. I actually don't think that's good podcasting. That's not good at all. Like when someone sits up, when we were talking about the twin niggas. That is the only interview I've ever canceled in my life. And they could say that, and I wasn't talking about like them niggas gonna kill me type of way, but I just cannot explain the feeling. Everybody in the room, they could say it wasn't anybody, bro. To make people feel uncomfortable is almost like a hard thing to do when you're a podcaster. I'm coming in expecting smoke. I remember when I walked in No Jumper, I did that interview for 3 hours and I was like, oh my God, Adam, I was so scared. And then I realized I talked shit about all these people and I didn't even know I was doing it because he made me feel comfortable.
Right.
Totally like chilled out.
Mm-hmm.
He's very monotone, like kind of like you. Like you're making someone feel comfortable so they start running their mouth like I'm doing right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Talking about some other niggas. But that is what happens when you get comfortable. When you put people in the adverse situation, you get nothing.
You get nothing.
Nothing. And I think about this example with Keke Palmer. We interviewed her, and that's a big get for an interview, right?
Yes.
And granted, yes, knowing famous people and whatever is cool, but asking them to do my show is a different thing. Because Keke got to know that I'm going to respect her shit.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I even said to, I think it was her mom who was her manager, like, just to let you know, like, I'm not talking about Trey Songz. I want to just, like, make that clear.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a got you show. I don't even want to bring up old memories. I want to have so much fun with Keke. Towards the middle, I talked about her sexuality. Because I don't think out the gate I could have been like, bitch, you really be pussy?
Right.
But, like, it's things that we've seen her kiss a girl on camera or whatever. And I also respect her so much. I don't really want to have people on that I don't fuck with. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I feel that.
Actually, and I think that too makes a good podcaster. Because this Andrew Tate style of podcasting is a very scary one. Because I really liked Brittany Renner's Fresh and Fit thing we talked about.
Yes.
But when I saw her sit with Andrew Tate, I'm like, bro, what?
Yeah,
He's so beneath you. You're amazing, but like that is the new trend of podcasting. Clickbait, sit with someone you don't fuck with and do this.
Yeah.
I want to have dialogue that maybe like we'll go back and forth with. Like we just did Wolf, like we'll go back and forth about something, but I don't want to sit with somebody I don't fuck with. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
For what?
I respect that. I'm the same way. You know, the energy has to be right. You know, and this is gonna live. And I want it to be a good representation of you, but also myself.
Imagine if you make people look bad on your show, which happens.
Yeah.
And some people are good for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but I don't think that's what makes a good podcaster, though.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes a good marketing,
Right.
like YouTuber guy.
Right. Last 2 questions.
Okay.
Message to your younger self.
I think the only thing I was gonna say, like, don't fuck niggas for money, but I need. And I'm actually not ashamed of that at all. I think the only thing I really wish, I think I beat myself up about was like, you don't have to be a housewife. You don't need men
to validate you.
Not validate. I was gonna say, it's on validate. You don't need a man's money to become rich.
Yes. Okay.
I still want niggas with money. I still want to take your money. I still want to fuck and maybe get some cash. But like, I thought I was going to live a good life because I married a rich man. And my mom said to me, I took her to Paris for her birthday. And she said, and I was like a little insulted, but she was so proud when she said it. We were at this restaurant and we ordered this steak or a fish. And she goes, oh shit, it was $100. It was €100. And she's freaking out. I'm like, Mom, fuck up. Like, I don't give a fuck. We in fucking Paris. I was a little mad. But like, you know, and she was eating it. And she goes, we're here because you don't have a husband. You don't have a rich man. You don't even need it. Like, it's crazy that we don't need a rich man to be here.
Right.
Can you believe it?
That's a flex.
And like, when she said it to me, she was just showing shock that that's why we weren't there. And I was like, wow, but my mom is 70 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's a different era.
Different era.
And so, yeah, like that was a thing that I think I couldn't understand because my mom was a housewife. So I was like, oh my God, this independent woman shit ain't gonna pay off because I ain't never gonna be able to like do shit alone. Not true.
Not true at all.
But niggas don't necessarily like that today. And that's where you have an Andrew Tate.
Right, right. Message to the young queens out there.
I would say to the young queens out there, take all of the sex positivity content that you're listening to as fun, comedic, helpful, but also don't let the banner of the horrible decisions or the like OnlyFans girl that's making $1 million on this make and steer you towards pushing for sex. Have sex because you want to fuck. Have sex because you enjoy it. Don't necessarily think this is what you have to do. When you're hearing stories, and I'm only thinking about this in particularly because it's something that was on my spirit recently. Don't think you're listening to a story of a girl getting money from a guy because she slept with him or getting access to something because she slept with him. It may not happen to you. I have fucked a famous nigga and got nothing but an Uber home. And so that is an art in itself.
Right.
I've gotten more things out of men I didn't sleep with yet. You know what I'm saying? But for some reason, we think sex is kind of going to lead us there.
Right.
Having sex as a choice for yourself is a really good thing. I celebrate sex in a fun way because I wanted to fuck. I told that Plan B story and joking about it because you know what I mean? Like, I wanted to have sex with this person.
Right.
Most stories I tell, I'm sure I've had some trauma, but are because I wanted him. And that's the power in being able to say, yes.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's for you.
Mm-hmm.
If a nigga wants to fuck you today and starts to pressure you a little bit because you don't want to or they think you playing games with him, girl, he still gonna want that pussy tomorrow.
Right.
Fuck when you want to.
Follow up.
Do you want to do a gangbang with 2 dudes? Or not, shit, I guess a gang maybe 3 or 4. Like, do it because you want to, not because you feel the pressure. Like,
Right.
I think all of those slutty things to do, it's got to be something that makes you feel
It's
good.
in you, yeah. It's something that's for you.
The whore is only in you.
Right. The whore is in you. Right there.
Go home and tell your girl, say the whore is in you.
The whore is in you.
Let's do it tonight.
Come in the room. And just go to sleep. All right?
That's funny.
You know, so thank you so much for your time. You know, I know you're a busy woman, but thank you for your time, effort, your energy, you know, for this opportunity. It really means a lot to me. We're going to release in Women's Month coming up in March. So I'm going to hold this. You know, in fact, I might drop that day.
I'm like, what am I going to drop in March? Nothing. But
yeah.
I'm trying to think. Hold on, let me plug my shit. I don't know. Let me give you your flowers.
Okay.
My favorite interviews that I've ever done.
What? This one?
This one, Breakfast Club, and a Huffington Post article.
Whoa.
I think so.
That's wild, Wolf.
Maybe I forgot the other ones. Maybe there was something else.
Right. I mean, listen, hey, you know what I'm saying? It don't even matter right
But
now.
I do be guest star. Like, I do a lot of guest shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to think of one that, like,
This is up there though.
I kind of be ready to go.
It's
Right. I feel that.
And I hope them girls in the other room don't hear that. But like, nah,
Yeah.
sometimes I be ready to go. But and also like when you do guest shit, you either do it thinking like, when you're asked to do a show,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're doing it because yes, you want to like spread your content or whatever, but you're doing it thinking like, oh, this person. I'm trying to find the words. Maybe excited to have me so they can talk about the things they're watching me talk about.
Right.
That's almost exhausting.
Okay.
So I think that's good podcaster shit.
Right.
That's good.
Right.
That's a gem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's facts. That's
Like
facts.
I already talked about sucking dick all day, bro.
Yeah.
Damn.
And I did it again here.
Yeah.
See, it came out naturally.
It came out naturally though. I didn't force it on you.
He didn't force it on me.
we
It's
didn't-
just this was sitting
yeah.
here and I was thinking about
Yeah. I mean, we didn't start there. You know, I knew I wanted to dive in because I know you have Horrible Decisions and you have your other podcast. So we were going to go there, but there was other places I wanted to go as well, you know, to educate, you know, put people onto your story, you know. And
I appreciate that.
Not many people get to see you.
because they do think I'm a dick sucking whore and I am, but like with morals.
Remorse, yeah, fact.
Go back to the beginning.
It's a fact. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you like, subscribe, comment, check us out. You know, definitely shout out to follow Weezy WTF. We're here at WTF Media Studios with WTF Zo.
Yeah, you got or interview some people in LA. Come to LA.
Yo, I'm trying to set it up. You know, I went to college with Saronis. I don't know if you know that.
That's my dog. No.
Yeah, went to
Oh,
college
you gotta
with
have. Shonas hasn't even seen the studio yet.
Facts. So I went to college with him. You know what I'm
He's
saying?
one of my favorite horrible guests because he knows exactly. Like I had a nigga say to me once, "Oh my gosh, Sharonis is so corny. He puts that voice on and starts talking to y'all sexy. Like it's so cheesy." And I was like, "Bro, he's on a sex podcast. He knows what he's
He
doing,
knows exactly what he's doing.
and we know what he's doing, and it's fun.
Right.
Like leaning in is like the best shit Sharonis knows how to do.
Right.
He's like hosted so many of our shows. Actually, quick story. We got a quick minute about Sharonis.
Yeah.
We got in a really big fight. You got to show him this.
Right.
I had a show last year,
Mm-hmm.
and I love when Sharonis hosts our shows.
Right.
And I asked him to host it, and he was like, yeah, I'll move some things around. I'll get it done. I was supposed to be filming, but like I think I can make it work. I said, okay. Like a week later, I was like, hey, don't worry about it. I found someone else. I don't want you to feel bothered. Like, trust me, it's fine. And he was like, yeah, I hung up. He was so tight at me and ended up telling me later, like, yo, I moved shit around to do this for you. 2, I love doing your show. Why the fuck would you have asked me to do something and have someone else do it? And I said, yo, I honestly thought I was bothering you.
Mm.
And he was like, why the fuck would you even do it? Why would you ask? And I was like, and I had to really sit there and think like, damn, yo, we've known each other for years now. Like, why would I think I was bothering my people? You know what I'm saying? Like, that is a fucking bother you thing. And it was like, he was really angry with me. It was like not fucking with me. I had to do mad apology tour texts. That shit it sucked. Yeah. And that taught me a big lesson. Yeah. Cause like that was probably one of the ones I had to eat where I was so wrong. Yeah. I feel like we met, 2012 in Connecticut at school. He was a basketball player. I played baseball there. And that's where we met. He's dope. That's my dog. Yeah, good people. Shout out to Saronis Jackson. My guy. If you may know him from Insecure, that's Drew. Games people play, good trouble. Good trouble. That's my nigga. You know what I'm saying? So definitely like, subscribe, comment. Look out for this one. Thank you, Weezy, once again. Thank you. Yeah. Bye. Peace and love, world. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, support the channel, show your love. You know what I'm saying? We have a great conversation week in and week out. You never know who's coming. You never know what we're going to do. But at the end of the day, it's all about peace and love. So make sure you like, subscribe, comment.